OJ wins, then they just now have a repeat win. There's nothing about it.
Well, we might have our first repeat champion in terms of monthlies, but you're right, Luminosity Gaming having that caveat of the win at LAIC does make this a little interesting. Now, we're going to get into draft in just a moment, but chat, I have the stat for you. In total, for this tournament of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday included, Luminosity Gaming has 119 jump board jumps. And Orange Juicers has 102. Shout out to both these teams for triple-digit numbers, honestly, but currently LG holding the lead. We'll keep an eye on that throughout this match. Here we go. Bans, Garchomp, Umbreon, Mimikyu, Talonflame. Some hard callouts, but it is going to be Otter picking up a healing support with the first pick. Definitely, these teams bringing in some new tech, and Luminosity Gaming is playing on your left-hand side of the screen. Orange Juicers are playing on your orange side.
Oh, that's maybe a power-up, or maybe not, because they don't get to troll as much. But Absol getting first picked alongside the Duck, that is, I think, a great pick. Obviously, that Absol has been kind of the MVP Pokemon of today, which is a pretty surprising thing for me to say, but especially in that last set, you see the damage that Overlord was able to pull off with it, and you just do not want that to be anything that you ever have to deal with in your entire life. So picking it away is a great way to also give it to one of your own members, which obviously they can play.
Yeah, Kratos has such a good Absol game earlier on today, specifically in the Winners Finals against this very team. But I do like this adaptation of Slashcan playing the hard defender pick of this Blastoise. Gonna be a really cool answer to the Absol. That Surf is so tough for an Absol to deal with, and Roland trying to peel on this Psyduck will be viable, but it's not gonna be as much as maybe some of the other supports might provide. But there we go, Blaziken and Leafeon going to be the final selections. Some incredible objective security here, rounding out Luminosity Gaming's roster.
Also really interested to see what this Alola Ninetales ends up going. I know I was really excited to see Aurora Veil earlier, but then there were some switches around with items and stuff in some different games. OG, though, going to be going with the OG Lucario, which is really cool to see. I feel like every time that he's been Lucario recently, or kind of for all time, it's looked really, really good. Not that his other characters aren't great, but there's something to be said about a comfort pick.
Okay, and I have to correct myself on some earlier choices as Luminosity does shuffle their Pokemon selection around their roster. Otter will be bringing the Alola Ninetales into the battlefield with the EXP share. Somewhere, Husky is screaming in joy that the Alola Ninetales is going to have a light bulb above their head and is going with the Muscle Band and Focus Band. So very likely we're looking at an auto attacker Alola Ninetales, which means that Aurora Veil and the Dazzling Gleam style of build and be very, very tough to dive onto these Pokemon. Absol is going to have a tougher time than normal.
I have seen as well some Aurora Veil and Blizzard, right? That's the other one that you get there, because I think that also makes it very, very hard to dive. So regardless, I do believe that it probably will be the Aurora Veil, which is really, really cool. I think that brings so much support to the team. And for anybody who I guess hasn't really got to see too much, it does lower the damage of everybody within its AoE, to your own team within its AoE. So it does give your team a lot more tankiness. It can support in its own way, and I think it's a very cool pick.
Yeah, and the secondary effect specifically to Alola Ninetales is it increases its auto attack speed. So one of the few Pokemon in the game where auto attack speed breakpoints get really interesting with some held items in terms of Muscle Band and Rapid Fire Scarf. This time around, it's just Otter wielding that Muscle Band alongside the more defensive option of Focus Band, as well as the Experience Share to try to get Curios up on these Blastoise levels as quickly as they can. And take a look at this. Otter shamelessly going to charge through the top side of this map just to make sure that no one is invading.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. It's a nice little bit of vision. Also, great Holoware. Also, this is Grand Finals. Of course, for anybody who isn't familiar with how it works, Luminosity is on the loser's side. They're going to have to win 2 full sets. So first, they're going to win 1 set to reset it back to a 0-0 score, then a second one. And Orange Juicers, all they got to do is win this 1 set, and they are good to go. But they will be 2 out of 3. So pretty much what we're used to. And I'm excited to see how this Alola Ninetales goes in particular.
Yeah, oof, okay, it seems like Kratos is able to get in kind of scot-free. They're chasing down Otter, but a little bit of damage comes back the other way as soon as the cooldowns are back. But Flareon's actually the one to strike first and get our K-opener on this Espeon pick, which again is going with that big burst damage option for the Espeon instead of the stored power. A lot better at objective secure and getting early KOs like we just saw.
Yeah, we're securing a little bit of extra experience early on. It's just a very scary move, and I'm glad that it's a little bit more back in the meta. But right now, level 5 against this poor level 3 Alolan Vulpix, that's going to be very scary to be anywhere within the range of that Side Shock. Up top, though, we are going to see Orange Juicers very aggressively pushed down as Trainer does manage to get one of the berries, and that health is nice, but 2 berries, they're going to just stay healthy alongside a little bit of help from that Blissey. Some points went in, but it does look like, maybe OG is going to get KO'd is what I was going to say, but they do manage to barely escape.
There is the Duck at work, rolling on these hyper carry supports. They're able to surf one way to give OG the speed boost on the Lucario, and then actually throw your waves the other direction to disrupt the team. Really good management of Psyduck's micro abilities, and that makes it impossible to get that KO out of the Lucario. OG is going to have a fantastic early game presence now, getting multiple stacks, a KO, and safe and sound back at the goal zone.
Orange Juicers, just a slight lead early in this game. Of course, they're up by 30, I don't know, something points. I'm not doing that math. It's 34 points. They're up by 34 points and up by about a level across the board. Maybe a little bit less than that, but this could actually build as far as leads go, as that's going to be one big KO already on the little Ninetales. It looks like they want to continue pushing. They are going to get some points in, but they did have to give up the Absol, unfortunately, for it. So that's a pretty good amount of experience considering Absol was kind of leading the pack.
Yeah, pretty crazy KO to see. Also, we're taking a look at yet another Absol moveset. Forgive me, Chad, if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time we've seen Sucker Punch Absol on screen. So one of those Absol waits for the opposing Pokemon to use a move, and they immediately leap into the action. Going to be really interesting, especially against a Blaziken who uses their moves so frequently. Zugrug stunning a couple of targets with that Woodhammer, trying to enable Flareon's the best chance to get the Regice, and boy, oh boy, does this bottom path look good.
It is looking great. Overlord, not quite getting that KO on Flareon's, and Overlord's now going to be targeted down as everybody's running in. The Hornleech to try and chase down. That wasn't even for CC, that was just for mobility, but everybody's now going to have to back out. That is just a massive amount of damage from both sides, and I'm surprised that we didn't see any KOs in that situation. Finally, we're going to see at least one, but that's just going to be a KO, I think, up top against that Alolan Ninetales, as now they're going to be fighting for the center area, and still more fights, and finally, we're going to see one more member go down. Absol several times going down.
OG, they're down. You don't need to close combat the knocked out Leafeon. It's okay. Leave him alone. But it's all right. OG is still in this fight. Has hit level 9, but the Unite move is not available for them. So clearly off screen, they already utilized it. Likely to get that KO on the top side. But they are not done fighting, as Blissey is going to drop. Currently Curios, not at that level 9, can't threaten that Hydro Typhoon frontline, which means Orange Juicers just have a lot of space to work with. Takes that fight against the Blastoise outside of that Aurora Veil. And now the battle is going to start commencing on top of this goal zone.
Ooh, they're really pushing. Flareon's really far forward, uses that Unite just to secure the KO on the Blastoise, and it does seem like we are going to be retreating for the side of Luminosity. That goal zone is going down. Gigantic lead, 205-point lead for the side of Orange Juicers. We didn't even get the chance to see how big of an overdunk they had up on that top path, but it's looking quite good. One more KO. Absol's just been kind of playing tank for the team at this point. And finally, Luminosity does get at least this one objective that can help them try to get back into the points race, but single defense here will maybe not be enough. Finally, a few more members coming in.
Yeah, so we're able to defend for quite some time thanks to the Trevenant Unite move. Gives him a little bit of shield, a whole lot of self-sustain. But this battle is not over, at least not according to Luminosity Gaming. Bliss assistance on to Overlord gives them the buff they need to take down their all-rounder counterpart on the other side. Absol with the Sucker Punch is going to take down Blissey, and Kratos chases down yet another target. Very good awareness that Overlord would be channeling that overheat within the tall grass, but even awareness isn't enough sometimes, as they cannot threaten the knockout, as Overlord is just waiting in the wings despite being a flightless bird.
Trainer is at 1 HP. They're just walking around. That was very scary. Did manage to get back, but they were altogether, again, less KOs than there could have been. We're seeing some pretty, I would say, cautious play altogether. It's definitely aggressive, but not overly aggressive from either side. We haven't seen a lot of really huge full commits, and right now this Regirock could be a big full commit, as 2 members of Orange Juices are here. The Power Punch being charged, trying to get this last hit, but it was a little bit too long. Still manages to get it with the close combat. Was that? I mean, I don't even even know what last hit was, but great steal as they're going to continue to chase down Luminosity now, kind of split up into two 1v2s, I guess, just in different sides. However, the Psyduck, so hard to KO. Great surf to bring them all the way back, though. Still, Roland manages to escape as once again, Kratos goes down. Kratos is on like 5 KOs, like being KO'd now.
Yeah, and because of that, they're stuck at level 11 as well, despite being the central area player. Both Flareons and OG have been trying to hold it down in terms of the level lead, and yeah, the close combat was able to secure it. A lot of the early damage to the objective was via that Absol Unite move, and look at this, Orange Juicers really expecting a late game push from LG onto their tier 1. Instead, Luminosity Gaming is taking the time to farm and actually focus on the Regieleki. As soon as OG gets vision, I imagine Orange Juicers are going to either make a mad dash for tier 2 or try to reinforce their team.
Oh, it looks like the Flareons went back. I think that would have been that 50 going into the back cap would have been the counter. But now it looks like they may just be challenging it. And this is a pretty scary time to do so. I mean, it's just still 254. KOs aren't going to matter for the final stretch fight. But Zugra going in, and we're starting to see the health of Luminosity get a little bit low. They are going to be able to get that secure. 2 minutes, 45 seconds, though. They can defend this. Luminosity has an opportunity to try to push it in. I don't know how much you want to spend here. This is really scary, but you do need some points. The surf pushing everybody off point is going to be a really good way. Just let the Regieleki on accident go in, but oh, they aren't going to be able to push it back. The Hornleech says, you can push us. I'm going to push Regieleki back. But finally, eventually, you just kind of got to give it up. And I think at this point, you just got to back up, retreat, make sure not to get KO'd too close to the final stretch.
Yeah, Kratos, one of the only Pokemon amongst that crew that can maybe try to poke a little bit and swing a KO and get out, but we saw the eject button, just playing it safe. Do not want to go down at this moment of the game. You will be respawning for far too long. Now, this team fight is going to happen rather quickly as we already have space taken by both these squads. No one has control over the top of the Rayquaza pit. Instead, both these players wanted to fight in the entrance, and OG, the first one into the fray. Hydro Typhoon gonna knock up a few, but it's actually Alolan Ninetales who takes out that Lucario. Amazing Gleam there to try to hold down everybody as another Surf from Kyrios is gonna try to displace Kratos, Kratos, as they make it all the way to the backline, is trying to 1v1 Trainer, and they will win that fight.
Ooh, and now Kratos is going to be able to come back and really be a threat. They're going to try to burn down this Rayquaza. Looks like they may be going for a flip angle, but Overlord's so extremely low up on the top path, and we're going to see another KO down with Slash falling. Rayquaza, though, going down to the side of Luminosity. They do manage to secure it, but they're all so low. They've got to be able to break these shields, and oh no, they weren't able to break any of them. 1 point going in. Oh, the 20 is huge. They're going to be able to get the lead now with the Overdunk. I was going to say 100 burger would not have been enough, but now they're up by 40 points. There's still a minute left, though. It looks like most of these shields are being broken. Overlord still barely has one. This is actually a pretty huge shield. Kyrios with a big chunk of maximum HP, making that shield even bigger.
Yeah, they took very little damage. I mean, Flareon's making, I think, the correct decision to all-in focus on that Alolan Ninetales. Not only do they burst the shield, but they eventually get the KO, and this is going to be the chance for Orange Juicers to rally. 40 seconds remaining, and just a small margin of points separate these two teams. That will be a Blastoise back cap, and immediately that KO is going to happen onto Blissey. Orange Juicers have their first chance. Only 2 members defending that goal zone. There will be 3. Blastoise is going to join. Blaziken does score in the back line, but currently the defense is happening on that tier 2. There is 68 points going in for the Blaziken. Blastoise picks up 2 as Kyrios with a fantastic defense.
And by the time we get there, everybody from Orange Juicers has gone down. They needed just another hundo burger in there. Obviously not the easiest thing to get. 6 more points. That's what's going to matter here. No, it's actually not going to. I mean, a great repush effort from Orange Juicers, but Luminosity finishing off the Rayquaza was able to just really push that to an advantage. Really, really close match, though. I will say it really felt to me like Luminosity was down. They just were able to get the quick flip, and they had the secure. They played to their outs.
Yeah, that overheat landing was at Overlord at just a tiny fraction of their HP remaining as well. So a few more damage moves get thrown in their direction. Maybe that Blaziken's not there to secure that final hit, and Orange Juicers are starting this series off with the 1-0 lead. But Luminosity on this path to reset the bracket, start themselves off in the best way they possibly can. 1-0 lead currently. Overlord absolutely carrying the squad in multiple categories. 8 knockouts, 260 68 points scored and 5 assists as well. But I do think we got to give some credit to Kyrgios on this Blastoise, playing a damage-oriented Blastoise, but also a ton of love in these Surf builds, yoinking so many members of Orange Juicers into the melee range of the Blaziken and just tease up. You are it, dude, too. But luckily for the chat, everybody wanted to enjoy this game. The draft is ready, so let's jump into it. All right, here we go. Mimikyu and Garchomp going to be the leading bans. Blissey going to join the ban group this time around. I think Umbreon going to make a return presence in this game number 2. Blissey being added, really interesting. We saw Otter kind of threaten to pick that Pokemon a little bit earlier. Let's see where they go now. Orange Juicers having a few options available. Absol, of course, something like the Psyduck would be a great choice here, and there it is. Roland locking in that support carry.
This does leave quite a few avenues open for LG still. Of their famous comps, one of them could be the no healing comp, which it does seem like there's a chance that they could be going a very similar comp to last time, or they could be going something with like a Comfey and a Speedster, which is another thing that we certainly know that they do have the ability to play.
Yeah, I love the trading of Absol. I find it even more funny considering the context of this game in particular. Also, Flareons, don't do that to us. Don't tempt us with the central area Hoopa. We know you love it. We want to see it. They're always tempting us with that pick and draft. But Overlord taking the Absol after defeating Kratos on the Absol. So a really interesting back and forth between these two teams, but it has clearly carved itself out as an incredible pick in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Kratos was doing amazing on the Absol. I will say last game. I mean, well, they got KO'd a lot, but when the fights actually happened, they were exactly where they needed to be, and they were taking out the targets they needed to take out. So I do understand taking it away, but whoa, the double Speedster, the full hard commit double Speedster with the Talonflame as well. Yeah. This team became very aggressive in the last moments of this draft, or not last moments, mid moments, I would say.
Yeah.
That's surprising, considering the fact we're already against double Defender and Psyduck. That doesn't seem like the optimal, I want to go double Speedster to me.
Can I make my argument for why I think it kind of cooks here?
Okay. Absolutely not.
I'll leave it for next game.
Please do. No, please do. Please.
So I think Psyduck is actually the key here. We see a lot of Psyduck Surf plays be detrimental to a lot of these melee-focused damage dealers like all-rounders. Like we're looking at Garchomp or Blaziken, who really want to be within range, and that Surf has been so pesky, whether they're speed boosting their own team away or Surf waves pushing those Pokemon away from the battle. But both Absol and Talonflame have incredible ways to close the gap and kind of avoid those instances of crowd control. So I think it's actually not a bad option into the Psyduck specifically. Now, are they going to be able to find easy knockouts? By no means. Trevenant, Blastoise, even Dodrio and Espeon, both challenging Pokemon to get confirmed dive knockouts. But we're also talking about Luminosity Gaming here, Wonder Chef, some of the best players on Earth. So I do think that this won't be a challenging problem. But hey, it's another game. It's another Otter support pick. The light bulb is now on Mewtwo Y.
All right, honestly, we saw LG do this a long time ago, and then they haven't for a while. Although I do believe when this happened last, it was Curios, or last that I saw, I should say. Certainly, there've been a lot of games that I haven't seen, but I believe it was Curios on that Mewtwo Y with the EXP share, and I do think this is a great pick for an EXP share, and I'm surprised that we didn't get to see it more, but there are just honestly a lot of good targets for that, so we are going to see a big shift around, and I do feel like maybe they just felt like they needed a little bit more damage, and putting that Alolan Ninetales on a little bit more of like a damaging build, just because it is a pretty tanky comp on the side of Orange Juicers.
That's true. That is really true. I've been pretty vocal about not loving the light bulb on the Mewtwo Y, but I mean, if it's Otter playing it, that is also going to be an interesting asterisk to put on the whole conversation. But I really do think level 13 with that increase in auto attack speed for Mewtwo Y just feels so amazing, and that the chance of you not getting it because you're playing experience share, I think could be devastating. And well, it doesn't matter. The proof is going to be in the pudding here in game number 2. Orange Juicers on your purple side. I shake my fist at you. And Luminosity Gaming on the orange side. Reminder, if Luminosity Gaming win this next game, they reset the bracket. We go to a brand new best of 3. If Orange Juicers win the next 2 games in a row, our tournament is over.
That's going to be tough for either side, but we do get a chance to see how this pathing phase is going to play out. Double Bird Speedster in the center areas, and up top we see Absol Mewtwo Y. That just feels weird to say, doesn't it?
It certainly does. What a new world that we are living in, but I don't think anybody is questioning either of these two players in these Pokemon. Both of them have proved time and time again they can absolutely crush it. But it seems like things will be a little bit tame on the top side for Orange Juicers. Instead, they're going to put all their focus onto the bottom side. Curios, wise to their tricks though, and the Alolan Ninetales is going to dash back to their goal zone, as we do have an icy lane here in the bottom path, as Swinub and Alolan Ninetales trying to freeze and lock down their opponents.
It's becoming quite common now to see the actual ice lane today. Oh, a fight breaking out of top. Trainer going back in. Really wanted that last hit, but they became the last hit. Maybe realizing that they could not escape, but that's going to be a nice set of experience for all 4 members of Orange Juicers up here up top, and they're not going to be able to fight the rest of this path. They're still a little bit weak, but all that extra experience on something that starts off a little bit weak like the Squirtle is going to be huge.
Really, really cool tech from Orange Juicers to show Dodrio into that bottom path, make Luminosity think, okay, that's where they're putting all their resources, and then Kratos immediately turns tail and runs all the way to the top side, or Kratos rather. So a really, really good stuff there. Now, the Kratos will win that duel of the birds. Dodrio will take down Talonflame, but quick response by Luminosity Gaming to defend their central area as 3 players rotate in, and nobody's showing up to the birds on time as this Flareon's trying to pick up as much as they can.
Everybody just saw other birds fighting, so they forgot about the other middle set of birds. But this is definitely going to be a bird game, for sure. So far, both birds have been very, very important, and I think they will continue to be. Otter, ooh, sneaking around in this center area is actually going to get a little bit of a jump on Zugrug. Zugrug pretty tanky and does have the backup of 2 different members, both Kratos and Roland, coming in to help. And so there's just basically been a lot of fights in weird areas. There's a lot of roaming, especially with how many speedsters are in this match and how many high mobility Pokemon are in this match. I feel like finally we may settle down for a fight pretty soon for the objectives.
Who knows? I mean, I just believe so, but I don't know if I trust it entirely. Ooh, Kratos going to take the last hit on the Audino with that boosted attack via the tri-attack, so impressive stuff. Surf gonna miss as Overlord dodges thanks to that Night Slash Absol, completely avoiding that stun. Cycle Cut, Night Slash gonna be the option, so the complete opposite of what we saw for the Absol in that last game. Dodrio gonna take out the Mewtwo Y, so Otter falls at the hands of Kratos, and Orange Juicers gonna be the first ones to show face and damage on this bottom objective, but it's gonna be the goal zone defense for Luminosity that takes precedence.
This bird versus bird match is really funny. You'll just see like one bird randomly, and then they KO somebody, and then all of a sudden the other bird shows up and KOs that bird, and then there's just like revenge for everybody all the time. Just a lot of KOs. Right now, though, Orange Juicer's really getting bullied out of this Registeel area. They are burning that thing down. No chance to steal at all. 2 members are still up top for Orange Juicers, so they probably didn't really want to try to fight for it in the first place. They're playing a little bit safer. I mean, double speedster, you do not want to overcommit to anything, and they're still doing pretty decent in levels. They're not behind by very much at all.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Orange Juicers now, maybe getting punished a little bit for inaction, right? They lose that bottom fight handily. Not a single member goes down, but they're not within a chance of securing that last hit objective, and now the Regieleki is also heavily favored for Luminosity Gaming. We do see Roland and OG trying to shut that down, but the damage numbers are just simply too high for Luminosity Gaming, and they're taking it even farther. That is going to be the Talonflame sweeping away everybody for the goal zone, allowing Regieleki a clean entry and a big old dunk into that tier 1 as Luminosity Gaming breaks topside.
Reverse KO is nice with OG using that Hydro Typhoon, but it's really, I mean, a small price to pay. The 2 KOs that they just gave up to be able to early break that goal zone. Getting everything was surprising to me. Like I was saying, it didn't look like they really wanted to fight for the bottom objective because they left 2 members top, but that usually means that you at least are going to keep eyes on the top objective, which they did not do. They will be able to get some points, though, in return right here, maybe in return for one of their lives, but, I mean, things could be worse, I guess, you know?
Sure. True.
sounding a little bit doom and gloom. The levels are still pretty decently average. 2 11s, though, on LG's side.
Yeah, Orange Juicers fans, do not fret. The Pulp still has a chance to take this matchup. Roland doing their best goal zone defense opportunity. They do get a few surfs in there, but Trainer is constantly on the hunt. But somehow, Kratos the one to weave together a KO onto Kyrios on this Alolan Ninetales. Roland still trying to slow down the enemy team for as long as they possibly can. They do force out the Absol Unite move from Overlord, so impressive, choice of resource management there, but they will steal that away as we have another basement Reggie about to spawn in. Slashcan trying to buy as much time as they can, but they are very low HP at the moment.
Ooh, so is OG. This is really scary.
True,
And
yeah.
honestly, Kyrios at half-life, Zogrog at half-life now, Flarion's at half-life almost. Everybody's starting to get pretty low, and that's going to be a big KO as we're going to see both Talonflame and the Mewtwo drop. So only 3 members up for the side of Luminosity. They're still trying to fight for it. Hydro Typhoon solo against Kyrios. Going to use his own Unite in return, but OG at 1 HP gets jumped on by Slash. And now with Overlord coming back, it looks like this advantage is going fully to Luminosity. Roland just going in for a little bit of extra annoyance, probably not making it out.
Kyrios somehow withstands a 1v3 in which they both got Blastoise Unite move and Psyduck Psychics. The crowd control was everywhere, but the Snow Globe Unite gave them just enough space they needed to get out and allow Overlord and Slashcan to help join that offense. Wild exchange there, but Kyrios obviously the major winner. Orange Juicers rallying back though. This is Dodrio getting the double kill. Huge for Kratos. A sneaky backcap from Otter of 31 points will break this goal zone. It is in exchange for another break the other way, but hey, Luminosity getting points in where they can.
Yeah, for just basically a losing situation, the only other thing you could possibly do right there is just back off, and that was a very sneaky way to make that happen. This has been a ridiculously back and forth game, though. There's just been fighting the entire time. KOs trading on both sides, points trading on both sides. Currently, only 42-point difference, which is nothing, basically, in the game of Pokemon Unite. It could build a little bit more. LG was just a slight lead, and that is going to be nice going into the end game, but, we've got level 14, level 13 on Orange Juicers. We've got 2 level 13s on the side of Luminosity. The last Regieleki is a little bit early, so unless they really try to push it in, it does seem like this should be going to an even fight, and that's the way I want to see it. If Luminosity is going to fight to reset this thing, it's going to have to be a strong final 2 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. There's going to be a little bit of farming opportunity for Orange Juicers. You can see a few players roaming and just waiting for these buffs to spawn. Roland really wants this one to show up, but also with some preemptive psychics, checking these little corridors in case maybe someone like Overlord or Slash wants to play hyper aggressive, they would spot them out. But that will be auto detected, and wow, what a call out from Zugrug, expecting someone to be in that enemy tall grass, and Wood hammers out the Mamoswine. Slashcan not in any danger, mind you, but that is a huge taking of space.
Right, and taking a vision, which is going to be really big. They weren't able to see who was going to be walking behind them, and so we're staying at a pretty even positioning right now. Zugrog going pretty far forward now, trying to get some viewage. That's not a word.
Yep,
it's like healing stoppage. Viewage of his own is what I was going to say right there incorrectly. And in fact, we're going to see Orange Juicers play very aggressively. They're very far forward in this bottom path, but in the back, we actually get a chance to see Otter getting a little bit of a flank. They are going to retreat, and this has become, I would say, awkward is the word I would use.
Level 11 Mewtwo Y backcap flank, you've seen it here first. Luminosity game and bringing everything out, but honestly, it felt like a mission solely to find out where Dodrio is. They currently hold that score lead. That can change in the blink of an eye with a Dodrio score, but now that team fight's really going to start popping off as Roland has found themselves all the way in the enemy side of things. Talonflame getting the chase down with 1. Brave Bird lands, but it's not good enough for a KO. Mewtwo Y hits absolutely everybody with that global attack from the sky, and actually is going to get a KO streak of 2 because of it. Otter now up to level 12 and Mega Evolved, throwing absolute haymakers in the psychic variety.
And we're going to see a few members going back just to heal, but the Orange Juicers there, very, very low. Attempts to get in. Great surf from OG. A great turnaround. That's a bird win. 30 seconds left. I don't know if there's any chance to make something happen, but it feels like there certainly is. A lot of members of Orange Juicers going down to that bottom tier 2 just to try and make sure that nobody can score. The back cap from the Dodrio could mean the win. That's enough to maybe get the lead back. Can they get a score anywhere on the other side? No, it's prevented. They needed that to win. in. 10 seconds left. Espeon has a chance to make it up to that top path. They need to make it in. They're so close. There should be enough time, but it's going to be really, really close. Can they get there in time to stop them? Oh, they did!
Oh my word. Kyrios with an absolute hero moment on multiple sides of the map. They were defending that tier 1 gold zone on the top side for as long as you can remember, but as soon as Dodrio wins that battle against Otter and Mewtwo Y, they immediately start to recall so they can jump pad defend that bottom tier 2, and then the fact that they were able to make it in the nick of time to stop Flareons from scoring is ridiculous. What a job done from Kyrios. I mean, marathon runner Alola Ninetales, you seen it here first. Unreal stuff.
Newest speedster in the game.
Correct.
Where is Kyrios? Kyrios is everywhere. That was so good. I mean, yeah, you can't even call it a hero moment. It's like a hero moments. You know, it's like plural, right in a row. I think Pikachu would be a really interesting pick to deal with this speedster heavy comp. I mean, you can play the Volt Tackle build and be very, very annoying against the speedsters, still bring a lot to the table. So I'm surprised we haven't seen any Pikachu in general, not necessarily just from like, you know, OJ, but any team. I know we did a little bit yesterday when I was watching Kyle stream the previous matches, but we'll see how that goes. Right now, we're looking at the bans for the first match. Post reset, back down to 0-0. Only one more reset, or sorry, only one more set to win this tournament.
All right, so the Garchomp is going to be the lead ban for Luminosity again. Mimikyu going to be the ban for Orange Juice. So Trainer most likely is going to be hunting after the Leafeon or the Talonflame within this draft, and Otter is going to pick up that Blissey immediately. So we could see that rotate on a Slash Cannon, with crazier things have happened. Where do Orange Juicers want to go? Grabbing that Psyduck, of course. It has been so phenomenal for Roland, and the Absol changes hands yet again, Wonder Chef.
I think the Absol is going to be a back and forth pretty much the entire set, but they could actually go with something like Overlord taking that Dodrio and just basically flipping the comps over and over. I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. We will get a chance maybe now to see what Flareons is going to end up going, which again was a little bit of a question mark. And again, I wasn't asking that because I thought maybe that they weren't working. I think that Spawn's been doing great.
Yeah. Also, one option that's in Flareon's kit that we haven't seen, by the way, they just hovered over it for a moment while switching, is Mew. We have seen very little Mew gameplay, honestly, this entire tournament. So, kind of surprising to see that. But either way, Flareons is going to go back to the Espeon, which I think was great. Zulgrug's going to return to the Trevenant. That was one of my notes that I would have liked to see switch, but maybe Zulgrug knows something I don't. Okay, Luminosity Gaming, the Overlord special. We got a game to work with, and Overlord is locking in the Cinderace. Blissey is on this team, which means Helping Hand is going to be an available move, and the auto attack speed with certain Pokemon, Cinderace is who I'm thinking of right now, is gonna be quite the duo. You never see this Pokemon. Welcome to North America.
And now OG, I really had to think for a long time about what to pick, but I do like that quite a bit. Yeah, like switching, like, come on, guys, tell me what to pick. I don't know what Cinderace is. I haven't fought Cinderace since 1993. But I do like this pick quite a bit. I feel like it's going to get a lot of nice, I guess, kind of like positive fights, especially early in the game, and maybe help shut down the advancement of the Cinderace.
One really cool thing I want to call out about Luminosity Gaming's draft is actually in the top side of your screen was the Alolan Ninetales and the Blastoise and the Blissey were all the first pick, and we see them all rotate around roles. All three of those picks are such Swiss Army knives in terms of Pokemon and competitive play. Like, they can fit multiple roles right now. You can go hard damage attacker Alolan Ninetales or supportive. You can build Blissey to be a lot more defender-oriented, or it can be more supportive, and Blastoise, of course, has the either defender or the all-rounder style. So, Luminosity Gaming knew they were cooking up something spicy at the end of their draft, so said, let's start with maybe the safest draft we possibly can in our first few picks, and then we'll get wild with it.
They certainly did go wild with it. Cinderace is strong, but I'm really curious as to why specifically Cinderace was chosen here. I mean, there are a decent amount of Pokemon that it can like kind of burn down. Like I think it could do pretty decently well against something like Psyduck if it does manage to kind of get that perfect spacing against it. But also against an Absol first pick, I'm a little bit surprised that you would go the Cinderace. Yeah. However, maybe just the faint reactions or everything that you need. I don't know if we're going to see that, but that would be really cool. Absol.
I was gonna say, I'm curious how the Blaze Kick matchup works with some of Absol's dashes, you know, like Absol getting a ton of extra damage if it ever hits from behind, especially with Pursuit, so maybe we see that change around with some good timing moves from the Blaze Kick Cinderace. I don't know. Either way, one of the craziest things is that Score Bunny is actually in path to start. Trainer LGC on this Leafeon demanding to get the Central Area experience so that they can be a terrifying threat at first flank.
And remember, everybody, when you go into your ranked matches, always choose lane Cinderace. It's very important and very important to winning. Overlord did it. You can, too. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. But, yeah, you have to be Overlord, basically, to make this work on a competitive level. This is a really nice support to have, though, in Path. And, I mean... that's actually like a pretty gnarly combo. I do like this a lot. I'm really excited to see how it plays out. I mean, this could be basically like, you're just like a walking turret at this point, and you're just terrifying. Like, okay, nobody can touch me, everybody's protecting me, and I'm just going A, and the entire team is gone.
Another Pokemon that can avoid some surfs as well. Huge evolution timing for Otter to get to that Alola Ninetales. They're going to buy a little bit of time, but that side dunk displacement does put them back within range as Orange Juicers with a full 4-player rotation onto the top side, putting a lot of pressure. Overlord has not hit that level 5 yet, therefore all they can do is auto attack from range and just be an adorable little bunny as they're trying to buy some time. I was thinking about it while we were seeing their initial rollout. The standing animation from Score Bunny is absolutely adorable. But hey, Otter and Overlord work together to do a little bit more impact than just look good. They do break the focus band on that Buzzwole. So these next 8-minute bird spawns is going to be a lot riskier for OG to actually fight over, seeing as they won't have that defensive item cooldown available.
They do have a pretty good level lead, though, so this is still going to be, I think, very scary for Luminosity if they want to challenge any of those fights. Look, they do certainly have the range. They've got plenty of range on basically everybody, as we're going to be fighting for these 8-minute spawns in center, and immediately Kratos getting a big KO against Trainer. Oh my goodness, 3 KOs all in a row. What just happened? They're going for the 4th as well. Certainly Otter does not get out of here against OG. Wait.
Unless no Beast Boost Buzzwole, so they won't have the move speed to chase down. Now, they do have the advantage of terrain, I guess, because it's their own central area, so anywhere the Alola Ninetales goes, it's going to be a very difficult recall. They do have some displacement moves, and we're watching the minimap. It's still kind of a stalemate between these two Pokemon. In fact, OG is actually the one to relent and backs off. Crazy scene. Somehow Otter absolutely crushing it in the enemy central area.
Otter's like, this is my central area now. Get out of here. And, okay, maybe eventually getting bullied out. And, of course, by the hardest carry in the entire game, Psyduck is finally going to take down Otter. Actually, just made the guess right there. They're going to get the KO. But that's just in time to basically delay everybody on Orange Juicers to not be able to get to the bottom path in time. So that was actually a huge delay by Otter. That's kind of what you want to see out of something like a Sableye, not an Alola Ninetales, but who am I to say?
Okay, I am not surprised that Overlord secured the last hit on that Reggie, but what I am surprised about is how they did. Their first 2 auto attacks went into the Indeedee in the middle of the path, which was a little terrifying, and then eventually their boosted auto was the one that hit the Registeel and secured it. So, making me nervous, but they do walk away from that fight with a Registeel to their name, as well as a KO onto Kratos. The highest level Pokemon in the lobby means that it's going to be a flood of experience going to that Cinderace, who now is hit level 9 and has access to the blazing bicycle kick, a devastating Unite move, and now, well, I would say recent changes, almost a year now, but a big change to that Unite move allowing you to be unstoppable while channeling it will make it a great objective secure tool and very tough for Orange Juicers to play around.
Oh, gonna be dunking Overlord back in. Does manage to get out, though. It looked like that may have been Flame Charge. I actually didn't get a chance to quite see.
Actually, yeah.
Was it Blaze Kick? Oh, that makes sense because you switch sides. Very, very smart. Then you can jump away. But OG's gonna be going down to Overlord that was trying to dunk earlier. Regieleki backing up with all this damage, and that's 3 KOs now in return. Luminosity taking a ton of experience and certainly going to be setting up to break this goal zone. I don't know if they will right now. Looks like they may not, or they're gonna wait a little bit longer. Otter, though, looks like he may be getting KO'd again as the Absol Unite is going to be taking down just a support, and that's not exactly what you want right there.
Yeah, we just traded a support Alola Ninetales for a central area carry Absol. That is a trade that Luminosity Gaming will take every day of the week and twice on Sunday, which is this day of the week.
Yeah. That is actually today. Very good saying. All right, just lets the dunk happen. I don't know. Good job. Good job. It's Sunday.
Thanks, Mojo.
No problem.
All right,
they are going to be down here.
Reggie Rock about to spawn in here. Kyrgios going to be trying to buy a little bit of time, but it's OG the one to slow them down. Big Surf takes a couple of targets out of the way, but that is a big Aurora Veil to give the defense buff. But Zugrug found a way into the back lane. Does not matter, though. Overlord still able to secure that Reggie Rock and giving a defense buff to the entire team. Flareon's finally gets onto the board with a KO, taking out Kyrgios, and is not done firing yet, but they're going to do it from the safety of their goal zone. OG wants to keep this fight up. SmackDown bringing the Cinderace all the way to the back line, and that's enough for a KO. Huge Buzzwole knockout. They get the Beast Boost access, but also level 12. This could be a big swing. Now trying to take down both of the supports on Luminosity Gaming. This is Orange Juicer's chance to turn things around, and they will buy a little bit of time at a couple of knockouts. Maybe not all the experience they wanted, but it is signs of life for Orange Juicers. In terms of the levels, otherwise, OJ's been doing great in terms of points. 185 to 99 score lead.
Right, if I'm being honest, I don't know how they have such a huge lead. They've just managed to kind of sneak those big points in when nobody else is fighting in those spots. And maybe one of the big reasons is that Luminosity is fighting a lot kind of in the enemy center area or in just these like a lot of weird little skirmish engagements, and so there might just not be anybody in those paths at the time, but they're still playing pretty confidently, and this is not the hugest lead going into the 3-minute mark of the game. I think one more Regieleki on either side could be really important as far as evening things up or just stealing a lead that's going to give a huge advantage in the final stretch, but the Hornleech going in at a huge Phantom Forest, that's going to make it, I was going to say allow you to survive a little bit longer, but that is really not gonna work out at all. That actually just completely flopped. That looked like that was an amazing engagement from Orange Juicers, but everything just turned around on them immediately, and I mean, so much of it I think was the damage from Overlord being able to literally burn down the tree. It is a special weakness of it, and now their Regieleki getting taken at the 3-minute mark. They're scoring points in the bottom, I think, as well, getting close to evening things up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, credit to Overlord for doing a ton of damage, but I do think Overlord should take the cape off just for a moment and hand it to Kyrgios on that Blastoise. The Surf hitting multiple targets, Hydro Typhoon picking up everybody else. A great response to that Trevenant Unite. Defender Unite moves are often some of the biggest team fight swinging maneuvers in the game, and also Regieleki with a very interesting path with OG trying to buy some time, and Orange Juicers will pick up the Regirock as well. Going to be going into this final fight with the defense boost. Luminosity Gaming spending a lot of resources in that fight on the top side means that they need to spend more time farming, means they don't have a chance to contend around that Regirock. But all is well that ends well, as both of these rosters are going to be going in to this final fight, everyone with a Unite move available, no one with playing without.
I think Zugrug's without right now, but probably back soon. Just Zugrug. Everybody but the tree. And we do need to see that back. That was obviously a huge one that they used. The more people you hit, the more shields you get, the better it makes everything. But there it is. There you go. It's back. Now we're in an even fight, and we're starting to just poke. But of course, the poke from a Cinderace is going to be huge. They can burn this down whenever they want. The initiation, though, is going to be coming from Roland. Going to be using that Unite to try and build a little bit more space. And the follow-up from the Absol, but unfortunately, Kratos just gets melted as we're going to see the Unite from the Blastoise in the backline trying to stop this dive, but 2 KO streak from Overlord. Phantom Forest only finds maybe one target, maybe two, I wasn't exactly sure, but Luminosity fully healthy, only 3 members up, 4 Orange Juicers down to 2, and even Roland is extremely low. Overlord has the ability to burn that Rayquaza in a split second, and there's nobody left to even contend. Roland would have to pull off a miracle, but not close enough.
Yeah, Luminosity Gaming, they got Overlord, and they still had the Unite move, even after that team fight. So Bliss Assistance does land on that Cinderace, but before we even need it, Overlord is able to use the Unite move onto the Rayquaza. Didn't need it in that team fight, instead using it for objective secure, and it looks like Luminosity Gaming's momentum is going to be carrying them from the losers bracket and starting off our reset in fantastic fashion. Very, very interesting draft, having a Cinderace without a helping hand Blissey, I'll mind you. That was Egg Bomb soft-boiled from Slashcan. Overlord not needing that attack speed increase, instead just making sure they get to those level spikes where the attack speed increases naturally within the Pokemon's levels. 15 and crushing it here at the end game.
Right, yeah, could have potentially avoided maybe some of the like the dive crowd control, but maybe it was just a little bit more important to be able to sustain against something like the Absol, so it couldn't just fully burst down some of the other Pokemon. Regardless, All I know is that the pick worked. All the picks on the side of Luminosity worked. That may have been their most dominant game of the entire set. Well, I guess I should say all of their sets against OJ today, as Orange Juicers now are going to be down for the first time in this tournament. They've only got one more chance. I mean, they've got to win their next 2 matches straight, or Luminosity will be taking their first monthly victory and their second victory of the season.
Yeah, Luminosity currently 3 game wins to 0 in this set in particular. That is a scary amount of momentum to try to deal with, and Orange Juicers have been trying to bring a few different answers. This time we saw the Buzzwole response to try to slide the early game in favor in that top side into Orange Juicers' way, but it did not work out, at least not the result they were looking for. Trainer with 75,000 damage on this Leafeon. I know Overlord kind of taking center stage on this Cinderace pick, but always Trainer an ever-present threat on that Leafeon. So terrifying to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, leading the damage technically. Obviously, everybody quite scary to deal with. Otter, though, is kind of my MVP, I think, of this match. For Luminosity Gaming, looking to win 4 games straight, including the resets into the post-reset sets. And one thing that I feel like really we got to look at is that there's been an ability to dive and play a little bit more close-up from Orange Juicers, but the combination of the Unites from Alolan Ninetales plus Blastoise is a gross combination of Unites, and they just haven't had the range to really get out of danger, I guess, in those situations.
Yeah, it's so tough to deal with, but Luminosity will be without one of those defensive Unite moves, as Blastoise will be first pick for Orange Juicers. OG wants that Pokemon, and of course access to the Hydro Typhoon to boot. Luminosity Gaming will have the chance to take away from the Psyduck for the first time in this series, I believe. I think Roland has been playing that Pokemon constantly in our tournament, but it looks like it will slide the direction of Luminosity Gaming as well as the Absol.
Just take their entire comp. Just 100% steal what they were doing. No, now it's time to see what we're going to have on the other side. The Mamoswine. All right. And the Mew, finally. Okay, I think this Mew is a really cool choice, right? Mew has the ability, and you know, I feel like you want to talk about Mew. You talk about Mew.
No, I would just agree with everything you're saying. I totally agree. One, I was really pumped about the Mamoswine pick. I wanted to see an adaptation. Wasn't loving the Trevenant so far, but Mew also really good anti-dive. It's going to be a full damage Mew, most likely. It's going to have a big impact on this game, and Flareon does have a great Mew. I'm excited just to see a brand new look, to be honest. What about you?
I agree 100%. Yeah, not only does it have great anti-dive, but it also has the ability to threaten from a longer range than Espeon did, and I think that's going to help them out a lot in a lot of the comps that Luminosity's been picking. But Roland going back onto the Sableye, and this went from a pretty solid comp to one of the most annoying comps you could fight. This is going to be... I want to say like a little bit of a troll game, and I say that in the most competitive and honest and complimentary sense of all time, but this is going to be very hard to control the team that Orange Juicers has just picked.
Yeah, what a weird final draft we have for Game 2 of our Grand Finals reset. Kyrios is going to pick up the Metagross and be playing a offensive all-rounder in the bottom path against this Mew of Flareons. That is going to be a really interesting matchup. Overlord going to be bringing in this double speedster still, and I have to imagine Kyrios will go with a Zen Headbutt style of Metagross, or maybe that's a little too all-in and play it safe with the Magnet Rise, not too sure. Roland and Kratos are going to be a terrifying threat to deal with at any given time. Trainer's going to have a tough first clear of that central area with the Sableye threat being ever present.
It is going to be very, very difficult. We might see Otter just go up and like try to assist at that point, or somebody go and assist, but I feel like, oh, no, actually, no, it wouldn't be leveled yet. So that's going to be a little bit of a tough situation, but we've seen Roland do amazingly with the Sableye today, and so certainly you're going to have some sort of counter option to it. I'm surprised they actually didn't try it earlier, considering how well it actually worked. They were just like, okay, well, let's just stick with mostly what we've got until now, what is potentially their final match. But I do love this shakeup. I think if things are not working out for you, you've got to go a very different path, and they did go several different paths, if I'm being honest, most of which we've seen work before. I think the biggest one, though, I do really like the Mew pick.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like someone who's jumping ship and going back to the direction, but I have to ask, is it too much changes? Are Orange Juicers too uncomfortable in this scenario? They went for something brand new. Who knows? Either way, tournament point now with Luminosity Gaming on your orange side, Orange Juicers on your purple team. They need to win back-to-back games against the two-time world champions Luminosity Gaming if they want to take this tournament win.
Well, we've been a little bit free of the streak, but we'll see if we can get to another game 3. That was a really fast clear. I didn't actually think you could clear before you got there on that side, so good stuff. In fact, we're just going to see Roland completely leave and back up to try and help get a KO. On defense for this goal zone, Otter looks like they may go down. Does seem like they managed to escape up top, is down on the bottom. We've got what is honestly a very, very tough path to deal with. They did manage to get that KO in the end on Otter up in the top path, but the range and kind of like, I don't know, kind of CC, not really CC of this path down here, Mew, is going to be really annoying.
Yeah, the offensive threat of Swinub early is often talked about as one of the better early game tanks. However, a lot of secures going in the favor of this side duck and now Metang core in the bottom side between Slash and Curios, as they got a lot of that secures, including that contestable Pokemon that spawns in very early on in our matchup, as well as all of these birds going in the favor of Luminosity Gaming as well. Good thing for Orange Juicers, though, the top path is going in their direction, so a bit of a trade. Bottom path success for Luminosity Gaming, Orange Juicers with early top success.
Kratos already level 6 on the Dodrio. That's huge. I mean, that's you're basically the power spike that you first want in the game. Well, I should say a little bit before that, but that's going to help with a lot. And a KO on whatever the second evolution is there. Of course, I always forget every single second evolution name. One of them is Fletchinder. Maybe it's Fletchinder.
It is.
But that's okay. Nice. I know things sometimes. Flareon's just trying to escape, and nice using the light screen to get out of there. Slash. We haven't had a chance to see him on the duck so far today,
Yeah,
but I know extremely strong player of that Pokemon.
That's true. Usually it is Otter picking up the duck when they can find that Pokemon in the drafting phase, but instead Alolan Ninetales support alongside Psyduck support. So I would say double support composition going to be the main play here, as Roland looking to set up a team fight, but Otter, wise to their tricks, is going to turn in Dazzling Gleam and freeze that target down for just a moment. I don't even think they have Dazzling Gleam unlocked yet, but still a nice play. Big dive in towards the Psyduck, and Slash finds themselves a little too far in enemy lines, and it's going to fall. That being said, Curios still picking up a ton of farm, already at level 7 on the Metang.
Ooh, Otter getting picked up as well, and now Curios is going to have to try to solo defend, but with only 3 points, you might just break this and try to go for the KO. Yeah, Curios realizing probably not going to be able to defend this as much as you want. And side note also, by the way, Curios has in UCS tournaments played Psyduck for LG as well. So basically, probably all of them could play a Psyduck. I want to see the Overlord Psyduck. I'm sure it's an absolute menace. Honestly, I actually don't want to see that. That sounds really scary.
Yeah, please, no. LG, spare us. But okay. The trend will continue between these two teams as top path dominance for Orange Juicers as a goal zone break will be followed up by a Reggie Alecki Secure, and Luminosity Gaming are going to take the bottom side objective uncontested as Roland shows up just too little, too late. Curios going to not solo defend, a bit of a duo defend. Unite move chases down that Dodrio. Compute and Crash will not create the walls of rock if they only find one target, but it will chase down that target to wherever they run. Great way to respond to that Dodrio, who has a ton of escape options.
It's such a scary thing when it just flies at you, you know? It just kind of like hovers and goes, wow, like just directly at you. You're like, ah!
War of the Worlds style. It's like, ah!
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like unnatural. But hey, it's working out quite well. Kira's doing a good job, but they're going to be pushing down this goal zone as we're going to see Roland fall second. Actually, 2 members going down on that pad. They all just jumped on there so fast I couldn't see how many members of Orange Juicers were there defending. And this is going to be a 24 overdunk. Pretty good as far as things go. And that's going to pull them the lead as well. Orange Juicers did have a little bit of a lead, but now a little bit of a deficit.
Yeah, and Metagross not only fully stacking their attack weight for Curios there, but also earning their Unite move back already. So we just saw it a moment ago in the central area, but every score does give you some charge towards your Unite move, and they already gain it back, and they already KO the Dodrio again, and you can see on your UI, they use their Unite move to do it. Criminal activity for Curios, as they are just solo hunting this Dodrio with the Metagross Unites.
Different kind of criminal activity for Roland, doing a great job of escaping right there. But yeah, honestly, at this point, we've got to say Curios looks like he may be running away with this game. In my opinion, that's how it's starting to look. Level 11 currently, and honestly, I'm surprised we are going to see Talonflame. Oh, actually, 3 members now level 11 for Luminosity. They're doing a great job of holding this level lead by a significant amount, but Curios just seems to be honestly unstoppable. I think they're like 6 KOs and no KOs on them yet. We are going to be splitting up our top and bottom objectives for this set of spawns, and no big fights, although we are going to see Roland trying to be a little bit sneaky over in the top right side. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pick up anything, but this is going to be a free basement Reggie for Luminosity.
Interesting. Okay, I was going to see if there was any adaptation after that, like if Trainer wanted to try to push towards this tier 2. Looks like they had maybe intentions to do so, but this Mamoswine response is absolutely fantastic from Zugrug. Talonflame is able to escape from Trainer, has to utilize the Unite move to do so, though, as a big Absol engage. Overlord will only do a little bit of damage. They are just outside of the range, but Trainer is there to close the deal. Mamoswine knocked out by Talon.
Ooh, and that's good because they are already down a member on LG just because they had to have Otter deal with that Regieleki as it was pushing in. So being able to take that down meant that they were kind of even as far as how many members could be up and roaming around. Now, a little bit more time to come back. A lot of points, though, in the pocket for Luminosity. They are really looking for maybe some opportunity to score in some goal zone, but oh, Slash getting away.
And I think one of our first instances of Disable that we have seen on stream, we just saw the Mamoswine stunned for just a brief moment as Psyduck uses that Disable move, increasing their cooldowns, but also getting a tiny little bit of a stun. There's only one Pokemon, it'll only hit them, but it does bounce between targets if they are standing within close proximity. Absol stunned a little bit too long, and that is, Dodrio stunned a little too long, and Absol gonna take that KO.
Yeah, Roland not able to get there in time to help with any sort of crowd control, and Kyrios just walking in, sees a bunch of good targets. They are going to be able to take down Overlord very, very quickly, and Kyrios is going to have to back up, but the eject button Unite is huge. The Hydro Typhoon able to essentially send them up for a double KO, but that amount of shielding on Kyrios is absurd. That is just an invincible Metagross still not going down, basically solo holding that entire thing, and still there, going to be getting back a lot of life on that pad. They did manage to get the KO, at least one KO there for the side of Orange Juicers, but Luminosity holding it off extremely well.
Yeah, Trainer goes down somewhere, but I think Kyrios is like, that's okay. Nobody scored on my goal zone. That was my main intention. And yet another basement Reggie going in the favor of Luminosity Gaming. Orange Juicers going to pick up yet another Regieleki. So the patterns are staying the same here on Tournament Point matchup. The draft may have changed, but the playstyles certainly staying true as Kratos on this Dodrio. I think the best look we've seen from them all tournament on this Pokemon in particular. Only at level 13, we've been seeing them knocking on the door of level 14 in games past, but this is still a very terrifying Pokemon to deal with if you're in LG's camp. And look at this aggressive positioning from Slash. That Unite move is very, very difficult to KO them through. That's why they can play so aggressively on the enemy side of the map.
That is really aggressive. I'm actually worried, but I mean, this is great that we managed to get to this point with a, well, not a lead anymore for Luminosity. Orange has the lead, but they've got the better team fight on the Luminosity side for sure. The fact that they do have the Sableye on Orange Juicers means that they're, I don't want to say down a Pokemon, but they certainly are not going to have that full power that you want for the 2-minute fights, and they are going to be able to at least see where Slash was over in that tall grass. This is just such weirdly aggressive positioning. Like you said, you can do it. You are relatively safe, but that could have been a little bit of a scary situation. Now we're going to see Luminosity completely back up, wait for the refight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Absol was there to defend that goal zone as well, where Sableye got the backup. I know that Roland is using Score Shield, so maybe that was the instance that we saw, but ooh, Flareon does have the Unite move bursted out. The Brave Bird is diving all the way in. They are still standing as they flame sweep all the way back to safety on their side of the map, but it's Zugrog trying to get a little bit of displacement. The Absol Unite move is going to protect Overlord for a moment, but it's Flareon's Electro Ball that shuts that down. But now Kyrios has joined the fight. Otter trying to defend against two targets who are diving them in the backline, and they still walk away thanks to the support of both Kyrios and Slashcan. We're headed to yet another refight, Wonder Chef.
This is advantageous for Orange Juicers. They have time to get up. I mean, you really like if you're able to heal, but backing is so scary if you're OG right now because you need to come back very quickly. They will be backing up for that heal, and everybody from LG is going to be rushing in. It looks like they may want to try and flip this Rayquaza. Flareon's being up in the top left makes this a very scary option. There's a lot of really, really good choices for being able to try and steal away this secure down to about 30% HP on the Rayquaza. They're just going to burn it down, and it's Kyrios taking the final hit.
Of course. course, it's the Metagross in the mix. That Gyro Ball, only 10 seconds remain, but Brave Bird will take you all the way across the map. Aerial Ace will take you away from scoring range, but it does not matter. Luminosity Gaming racking up the points with the Hundo Burgers across the board. Flareons will respond score, but it will not be enough. Luminosity Gaming holds onto their leads and wins our grand final reset. Welcome your January Cup champions, Luminosity Gaming.
Wow, Kyrios played so incredibly well that entire time. I mean, in all of the refights, Kyrios was the only one, I believe, that maybe the only one of the only few to not get KO'd the entire time and pick up so many KOs himself. Then manages to stick around for the final moments, manages to steal away the secure from, a very experienced, one of the best Mews in the world, Flareons, not able to get that Electro Ball out in time just because of how good Kyrios was. Everything about that is, I want to say, the Kyrios game. I mean, obviously well played by every single person on that team. Their change in draft worked extremely well, but hey, I gotta give some love right there, because that was a great showing from what is normally a ranged attacker player playing Metagross.
Yeah, crazy to see. This is what we were talking about, some of these attackers starting to